Howdy folks, and welcome to Billy Jim's Guide to the Ballet. Today we're going to be talking about Jean-Georges Noverre, the godfather of ballet action. Louis XIV is dead. It's 1715. This is not good for ballet, no sir. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because dancing becomes something like this. Now you're saying, well, Billy Jim, what are you talking about, man? That's a 331 Ford Stroker with Scat 4340 Pro Comp I-beam rods. That ain't no dancer. Well, yes and no. You see, prior to Noverre, this French critic wrote, dancing had become so little expressive of anything dramatic that puppets and machines might easily replace the dancer. So, Jean-Georges Noverre was born in 1727. And he becomes this ballet master. And he makes this thing that's called Lafitte Chinoiseau. Now, Lafitte Chinoiseau, that's French, of course, and it translates into something like something with the Chinese. Anyway, he makes this ballet, and it gets to be really popular. And he decides that he's going to go do it up in London with David Garrick at this place called the Drury Lane Theatre. Let me tell you something about old David Garrick. Now, David Garrick was really famous at the time because he was one of the most famous actors of his day, and he was changing the way that acting was being done. He was shaking it up. David Garrick was using this thing called pantomime. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, Billy Jim, I don't want to know nothing about no pantomime. But listen. It ain't like what you're thinking, okay? Pantomime ain't like, you know, it ain't like that. It ain't like a dude with a white face on that's like pulling a rope and does something funny with his mouth. It ain't like that. Pantomime is like this. Now, you see, this is from a ballet called Giselle, see? Now look at that girl right there, right? Oh, I'm crazy. I'm going crazy. My boyfriend, he turns out that he's married and I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. Help, 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 help. See? Because she's using that pantomime so she can express that, see? Right? You know, yeah, you being a woman, you know, I hate to say this, but you know, you're gonna come across men. They married, right? But they pretend they don't be. Yeah, you don't gotta lose your mind over Giselle. No, you don't. You don't. I'm telling you. Please don't. Okay. So, Noverre and Garrick were gonna stage Lafitte Chinoiseau at the Drury Lane Theatre, right? But it was really bad timing because it was right on the eve of the 7 Years' War, and London was full of all this talk about how there was people going to be invading from France anytime. And how there was French people that were already in society, and there was going to be this up people, and the French are going to take over. Well, you know, everybody knew that Noverre was French. So when they got to the theater on the night of the opening, suddenly there was a riot, and everybody was fighting, and there was a big melee. And you know what happened? Noverre's brother Augustin wounded somebody in the fight, and so Noverre and his family had to go into hiding. About a year later, they was going to stage it again. But something bad happened. Noverre got sick. And so he had to go and convalesce at old David Garrick's house. This turned out to be a pretty good thing, though. I'll tell you why. He went through all of David Garrick's books. He started reading lots of stuff about pantomime. And then one day, it hit him like King Kong's foot. And he thought, we can do better. We can. We need to express ourselves like they are at the Drury Lane, using their bodies and using their faces and stuff, man. That's what we need to do too. So, in 1760, he writes his book. It's called Letters sur la danse et sur les ballets. The main point of the book was that ballet had to be much better at telling stories, and so a complete adjustment was necessary. Because of Jean-Georges Noverre, the way of storytelling changed, so the kind of storytelling changed, and so the dramatic ballet was born. That's it, another episode of Billy Jim's Guide to the Ballet. Go ahead and hit the share or like or subscribe button if you feel like it, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.